Hello everybody, hope you're doing well and thanks for joining us for another video. Now the other day I put out a video showing a lot of the Artemis photos and videos done in 3D. But the 3D versions that I made were red-blue, which need special glasses, or cross-eyed ones, which don't need anything. Now I did these because they're the types that I've previously done with a similar video that I made with Apollo photos. However, there were quite a lot of people commenting saying they couldn't do cross-eyed in order to see the 3D effect and that I should have done the photos the other way round so that they're parallel with each other. The other complaint some people mentioned about that last video was the switching between showing 3D images to then showing me in 2D, and people's eyes were getting tired having to keep swapping back and forth. So I've redone all the photos and videos to be parallel with each other instead, so hopefully you can view them all in a 3D viewer if you have one. Else, you can view them rather than going cross-eyed to see duplicates and then focusing on the middle. You instead focus beyond your screen to see duplicates and then focus on the middle one of those. It seems the trick to focusing beyond this is easier if you use a small screen like a phone, where you can easily look over the top of the phone and then bring your eyesight down. I think I typically struggle with it because I was trying to do it on a big computer monitor. But I still personally find it harder to do it this way than going cross-eyed, but it seems I might be in the minority. Now, I'm sure Rusty's fans are going to love this, but sadly no, this will not be a regular thing. So, let's get into the Artemis stuff. And we might as well do it in chronological order this time. So, firstly, here's the launch footage done using Astronomy Live's recording of the launch paired with one of NASA's tracking cameras. Next is my favourite of the launch, which is a close-up view of the engines through the ascent and with some added sound. As with before, I'll cut ahead because the whole video is about 5 minutes long. However, I will put the entire video up at the end of this video. And then we'll cut again towards the end where you can see the solid rocket boosters jettison and begin to fall away. Next, let's show the Hello World time-lapse of Earth taken from the night side of Earth, where you can see satellites orbiting, lightning storms, and the aurora taking place. Now, here's a photo of Earth taken from inside the cabin, but with the cabin very well lit and visible. Now, as with the other version that I previously did, this one had potential to be just next level 3D. Unfortunately, the camera seems to have moved a bit too much between the shots, which is causing a lot of ghosting inside the cabin. Then later on, they took these photos viewing Earth from a further distance, again with the window in view, though not as clear as with the previous one. This one's more just sort of in your peripheral. Now, as they neared the moon, they were able to get the first ever full view of the Mare Orientale, or the Oriental Basin. This is the first time humans have seen this in its entirety, because it's out of view for anyone on Earth, and it's so large that the Apollo crews weren't high enough above the moon to see all of it at once. Artemis then looped around the far side of the moon, during which the crew were able to watch the Earthset. So here, firstly, we have a wide view still, followed by a photo taken with a longer focal length that shows the Earth in much more detail. Then there's this one, which is similar to the first one I showed, however, this one has a better sense of depth because you can see the window frame and the glare from the sun across the window. Now, I have to apologise because this is actually the exact same shot that I included in the other video, but I claimed it was a cross-eyed version. A few people pointed out that when they viewed it cross-eyed, the moon seemed closer than the window frame. Seemingly, I'd managed to put the photos back to front and inadvertently made it parallel, not cross-eyed. As with my previous video, we can take a sequence of photos that make up the time-lapse and play it with a slight delay between each eye in order to force a 3D perspective from a time-lapse. And again, the reflections on the window just add extra depth to the shot. But now we come to what is still my absolute favourite. A wider view out of the window with a deeper depth of field that makes the dust on the window much more noticeable. I'll never tire of seeing this and how it feels like you're in outer space looking back at the Earth and the moon, just as the astronauts must have felt. Then after the Earthset, they watched the moon eclipse the sun. These photos were most people's favourites from the entire mission. And lastly, do you know what? Since I'm making a parallel video anyway, and I didn't do parallels for the Apollo photos, here's my favourite one of the Apollo photos as a parallel 3D. This one was from Apollo 17 when they were setting up the flag, and I absolutely love the depth that you get with this. Certainly shows it's not in a studio. So, there we are. Apologies to everyone who struggled with my previous attempts at 3D, though for anyone who struggled with this one, perhaps the red, blue and cross-eyed versions in the other video would work better for you, so I'll leave a link in the description. And before we sign off with the full launch video in 3D, I'll just say, as always, if you enjoyed this video and you haven't already done so, then please do consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video.